The average person is said to spend 15 minutes in the bathroom. Why not take advantage of that time and learn something new? Presenting the 15-minute podcast on weird facts, crazy details, and funny particulars that you'll be able to enjoy while you're taking a on your free time. Welcome to This Shit with Sam Butler. Welcome to another episode of The Shit Podcast. A very special guest with us today from Que Fue de Ellos, or What Became of Them, right? Or Where Are They Now?
What happened to them?
What happened to them? Podcast. Yeah, you guys are here with me today. We're doing this in English, so thank you guys for joining me.
No, thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
Do you speak English,
Yes,
Borre?
sir.
I've never heard you speaking English.
You guys speak good English. What are you talking about?
I'm bad, but
I'm pretty bad
it.
too.
Yeah. Well, you guys are perfect because...
But I don't give a fuck.
Hey, I appreciate you guys giving it a shot. I mean, it's your second language, and believe me, I understand. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to speak English for me, you know, and then to have to do it in Spanish. So I feel you all struggle, and I appreciate you guys giving it a shot. Today's episode we're gonna talk about one of my favorite Christmas movies ever. I guess it's a Christmas movie. I don't know that it's really a Christmas movie, but they consider it a Christmas movie.
Flintstones? Rescue
no.
Santa Claus? No?
It's called Home Alone. Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Home Alone. My poor little angel.
My poor little angel.
In Spanish, that's what it's called, Mi Pobre Angelito.
Yeah.
But in English, it's called Home Alone.
Uh-huh.
So that was a very interesting movie. There's actually a Netflix series that talked about the movies that made us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they referenced that series a lot, but there was a lot of things that were pretty interesting about this movie. And since you guys are a Where Are They Now type podcast, and I'm a Weird Facts podcast, so I thought we'd combine them and we'll talk about some weird facts, and we can talk about Where Are They Now?
Where are the weird facts now?
Where are the weird facts now? You know, are you familiar with the movie Uncle Buck?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
I love the car.
You love the car?
Yeah, I like the car and the scene of the toothbrush scene when the kids tries to ¿cómo se dice engañar?
Cheat? I don't know. Try to cheat?
Trick.
Try to trick to Uncle Buck.
Yeah. Well, if it hadn't have been for that movie, we probably wouldn't have Home Alone.
Why?
And this is the deal. The idea for Home Alone occurred to John Hughes. Now, John Hughes was the writer, and he's also a producer of different movies. He has a long list of movies. But the idea for Home Alone occurred to John Hughes during the making of Uncle Buck, which also starred Macaulay Culkin, you know, who was always game to play the precocious one.
He have a twin.
Yeah. No, he didn't have a twin.
Yes, a little sister.
A little brother.
It's not they are not twins.
I don't think they're not twins, no.
O ¿cómo se dice? Cuatitos.
No. No.
Yeah.
So, there's a scene where Culkin's character interrogates a potential babysitter through a mail slot. In Home Alone, Culkin has a similar confrontation with Daniel Stern, this time via a doggy door.
Okay.
So that scene where he's interrogating, that gave John Hughes the idea for writing this movie.
Ooh.
Now, he wrote this movie very fast. He was on his trip home. He remembered how hard it was, or how anxious he was when his parents went to Europe, and he thought, what would happen if you forgot someone at home?
Okay.
We have a friend that their parents,
His parents.
forget him.
They forgot him?
Yeah.
No, they didn't forget him. They left him.
They left him. Yeah, because
on purpose.
he was taking a shower, and his family goes to vacation, and they leave it in the house.
They left him
in
home.
the shower.
Was it on purpose?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like, bye.
Yeah.
I said, hey, we're going to
Hey, George,
Mazatlan.
go to the shower, and they go to vacation.
Where'd they go?
Mazatlan.
Yeah. It's a sad story. It's kind of funny, but it's
Yeah.
sad for him.
How old was the kid?
It's funny because we have a party that day.
He had a party at his house. I'll teach you. You know, are you familiar with Macaulay Culkin's character? Obviously, his name is Kevin. Kevin's brother, his name was Buzz in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a tarantula.
Yeah, yeah, a tarantula.
Uh-huh.
Which, by the way, that's another fact, another fun fact. But the tarantula was real,
Okay.
and it was really on Daniel Stern's face in the shooting of the movie. You know, that was a real deal. But Buzz's girlfriend, remember that they're gone, and he starts going through Buzz's personal things, and he finds a picture of his girlfriend. And goes, ugh. Right? That was actually a little boy that they made. They dressed up as a girl for the photo.
Oh.
Okay.
And they did that because they felt that it would be not nice to put a real girl and then say she's ugly. So they said,
Like, we're looking for an ugly girl for a picture. You're perfect.
You're perfect. Oh my God, you're going to be in a movie. You're precious.
Fuck himself.
Yeah. Yeah. So here it says, when Kevin takes advantage of Buzz's absence to go through his stuff, he finds a framed photo of Buzz's girlfriend that he's, let's say, less than impressed by his exact words. Buzz, your girlfriend is woof. So it would be unkind to put a girl in that role and just being funny looking. So he said, let's do it with a boy, you know.
Okay.
The role of Kevin McAllister was pretty much written for Kevin McAllister because of what we talked about with the Uncle Buck. They said this kid's perfect for it. You know, his younger brother, this is what you were asking, Kieran also landed a part in Home Alone as Kevin's bedwetting cousin Fuller. Nobody wanted to sleep with Fuller because he wet the bed. That was actually Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, since Home Alone, Columbus, now the director, his name was Christopher Columbus. He wrote the scripts for Gremlins and Goonies. He has gone on to become one of the Hollywood's premier family-friendly movie makers, the director of Home Alone, Mrs. Doubtfire, to the Harry Potter movie franchises. But one lesson that he learned from Home Alone is that when you agree to work for a kid actor, you're also agreeing to work for that kid's family. So it was one of those things that he had to learn how to deal with the family. We didn't know much about the family at the beginning. We were shooting. We learned a little more. The stories, the hair raising. I was casting a kid who truly had a troubled family life. In 1995, Culkin's parents, who were never married, engaged in a very public and nasty legal battle over his fortune.
Yes.
So they were fighting for the kid's fortune.
If you want to know more, go to Que Fue de Ellos.
Yeah, Que Fue de Ellos.
Mi Pobre Angelito.
Yeah, watch that.
Yeah,
because
episode 37,
37.
probably. Yep.
yeah. Right now?
No.
Not right
Later.
now.
Oh, episode 30. Episode 37.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying he was 37. No, I think he just turned 40. Macaulay Culkin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a meme out there that
And
said,
he wants to change his name.
what does he want to change his name to?
Macaulay Culkin.
No, Macaulay
Culkin.
And it's for a joke, so that when people ask him, like, hey, are you Macaulay Culkin? He can say, like, yeah, that's my middle name.
Oh. That's a terrible joke.
White Rabbit, the other
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. That's his other project. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. The McAllister home from Home Alone has become a major tourist attraction.
Where is that?
It's located in Winnetka, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. Located at 671 Lincoln Avenue, Winnetka, Illinois, the kitchen, main staircase, and ground floor landing scene in the film were all shot in this 5-bedroom residence. Dining room and all of the first floor rooms, with the exception of the kitchen, were shot on a sound stage. In 2012, John and Cynthia Abendschein, who owned the home when it was used as one of the film's locations, sold it for $1.58 million. Now, I heard that they wanted to sell it for like $2.7 million. Nobody wanted to buy it. So they sold it for 1.5. Now, in that series that was on Netflix that talks about the movies that made us, they talk about how that film was almost not made at all.
Why?
That the studio executives were like, this is a terrible movie, terrible idea. We don't want to do it. They didn't want to have a big budget. And so they finally figured out how to get it made, and they went ahead and made this movie.
Okay.
But to do so, they actually used a gym at one of the schools, and they built the soundstage inside of the gymnasium at this school.
Okay.
Right? So a lot of the scenes that you see at the house weren't shot at the house. They were shot in this gymnasium at the school.
Oh.
Right. But that was the famous house that I remember that house. It's like it's ingrained in your memory, right? Because that's a movie that we'd watch.
It's a big house.
Yeah. And I remember the little train, and he had the Michael Jordan cutout going, trying to trick those guys. Kevin's treehouse in the Home Alone was not part of the house. Remember, he had a treehouse that he right. They actually built that treehouse there to be able to shoot that scene, and then once it was over, they took the treehouse down. So that was something that they added to the house.
Oh, I always wanted one.
They could have left it up with the...
Yeah, right? I'd have been like, hey, that's a nice addition to the deal. This is where, but the main plot point at the McAllister family is in Paris while Kevin's back home in Illinois. But the whole movie was shot in the Chicago area. Mm-hmm. They didn't go to Paris. The scenes were supposedly set at... Paris Orly Airport were actually shot at O'Hare International Airport. Those luxurious business class seats they're taking to Paris, those were built on a basketball court in a local high school. So you see that's part of the deal. Robert De Niro turned down the role for Harry Lime in Home Alone. So it could have been, could you imagine if it had been
Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro?
All right.
Casino, man.
That would have been a crazy movie, right?
Yeah.
And they say that Joe Pesci didn't even want to meet Kevin or Macaulay Culkin because he wanted him to be really scared of him, for reals.
Okay.
So he was like, I'm going to avoid him till we actually shoot the scenes. And an interesting fact, he actually bit Macaulay Culkin. He accidentally bit him. So there's a scene where he hangs him up on the door. And he goes, I'm going to bite your fingers off. He actually bit his finger and cut him by accident.
Accident, right.
By accident, yeah. So this is what...
He went to suck him.
So according to Culkin, while rehearsing for the scene near the end of the movie when wet bandits finally managed to catch Kevin and threatened to bite off all his fingers, Pesci accidentally really did bite him. As of 2004, the interview with the Rule 42, Culkin still bore a scar from his co-star's mistake. In the first Home Alone, they hung me up on the coat hook, and Pesci says, I'm going to bite off all your fingers one at a time. Culkin told Rule 42, and during one of the rehearsals, he bit me and broke the skin.
Wait. Who bite who?
Pesci
bit Macaulay and cut him.
He has the same taste like Michael Jackson.
They're, what do they call them? Brothers? They're
Milky Brothers. They are Milky Brothers.
Eskimo Brothers.
Eskimo Brothers.
What the fuck?
That is disgusting.
Yep.
Now, there's a scene in there by one of my favorite comedic actors, John Candy. Do you remember that?
John Candy, the guy.
John Candy, when Kevin's mom is trying to get back to Chicago, and she's like in Detroit or something, and she can't get like a plane ticket. So a guy comes up to her and he says, hey, I overheard your problem. Me and the boys were going to Chicago. We'll give you a ride if you like. Right? And she's like, okay. And they're like, we're the Kenosha Kickers. Right? And she's all, okay. He goes, like, you don't recognize us? Polka, polka, polka. Right? He had all these different scenes, right? And she's like, no, I don't know who you are. Really? Like, he can't believe she does it. Like, well, a lot of that was improvised.
Oh, man.
Right. And now John Candy, at this time in John Candy's career, he was a megastar. It's like the biggest comedic actor of that time. So he did it as a favor to John Hughes. John Hughes had put him in a bunch of movies.
Okay.
Right? National Lampoon's movies. Do you remember National Lampoon's Vacation?
Yeah. No, I just saw... ¿Cómo se llama? John Belushi? Animal House.
Animal House. Okay, but when Chevy Chase takes his family across the country and they want to go to Wally World, which is like Disneyland. Remember that movie?
Sí, sí, sí.
Well, the security guard is John Candy.
Okay.
That the park, they get there and the park is closed. They lost the grandma and everything, and he has a BB gun and he makes them take him on the rides and goes, "Hey, I think that's a BB gun." Well, that was John Candy. Okay. So John Candy was in a lot of John Hughes movies. So he did this as a favor to John Hughes. He actually shot everything he had to shoot in a 23-hour period. He got there and he says, "We're shooting all of it because I got to go. You got another project going on." So to have a megastar like John Candy just show up and do a cameo like that was a big deal. Another big deal was that there's some reports that say that he only got paid like $414 for the cameo.
What?
Right?
400?
400. So the guy delivering the pizza at the beginning of the movie actually made more money than John Candy on that movie. Right?
Don't suck it. No mames.
Not even for the sodas.
Yeah, and they said that he kind of resented that. Like it bothered him in the long run because Home Alone broke records.
Yeah, probably he didn't talk that it was gonna be a good movie, like
in
the box office.
He's just like, "Oh yeah, I have nothing to do. Sure, I'll do a scene for you," and then it blows up, and he's like, "Oh, give me more money, you dick."
Yeah, pretty much that's what happened.
Nah, you don't have pizza in your seat.
Yeah, I'm trying to find here some of the details of how long this movie was like at the movie theater longer than any other movie at the time. You know, it was there for like 35 weeks or something like that. It was just forever at the movie theaters. It made like it made like $474 million, which was incredible because they had a $10 million budget. The studio wanted to scrap it, and it became a #1 hit. So another thing, Daniel Stern. You know who Daniel Stern is?
Yes.
Daniel Stern is the curly-haired bandit, right? Well, he turned the movie down. They tried to convince him to do the movie. He turned it down, so they went with another guy. But that guy didn't get along with Joe Pesci. So they went back to Daniel Stern and said, "Please consider doing the movie." And he said, "All right, I guess I'll do it." Well, he was super happy that he did it. And he was like, "Thank God that they came back to me and gave me another opportunity," because nobody ever thought this movie was going to be such a big hit, you know? That scene where I'm trying to find the detail here, when he's trying to retrieve the shoe through the doggy door. Let's see. Daniel Stern actually says a cuss word. He says shit, and it's a kid movie, so he had to he mumbles it, but they didn't cut it. You can kind of catch it if you try and look at. Joe Pesci was having a really hard time not cussing because he was on Casino and he was Goodfellas, Raging Bull. So he kept having to change the words around, which didn't count on, and they made that really funny.
Probably someone already on YouTube made a video about putting fuck in every scene.
Let me see. I'm trying to find the deal. Well, Poland, the country of Poland, actually loves this movie because they show it on Polish national television every single year.
Also here in Mexico?
In Mexico too.
Mexico and every...
I know that my cousins used to say that was me as a little kid because I was always doing crazy stuff as a little kid. So they loved it. Esa, mira cómo se porta.
The cute one.
Sí. But there's a lot of cool details. Okay, here's the info I was looking for. In its opening weekend, Home Alone topped the box office, making $17,081,997.
Wow.
So the budget was $10 million. It made $7 million in profit the first weekend. You know, the movie maintained its #1 spot for a full 12 weeks and remained in the top 10 until June of the following year. It became the highest grossing film of 1990, earned a Guinness World Record as the highest grossing live action comedy ever domestically. And it held on to that title for some time, 27 years. Until the Chinese blockbuster Never Say Die knocked it out of the top spot in 2017.
I hear it was the Grinch, but the animated one, like 3 years ago.
That's the one that beat Home Alone?
Huh.
So the
I have
Grinch-
another facts.
Yeah. Which is cool. I mean, these facts are all from the internet, so they could be right or they could be wrong, but they're fun. That's the whole point of this podcast, right? This is something you can enjoy while you're while you're got free time. You know? Don't take this very serious. We're all having a good time. You know? People are like, "Oh my God, you got this wrong." No, we're just goofing off. This is not yeah. In real life, Harry and Marv may have not survived Kevin's brutal attack in Home Alone.
Oh no.
The BB gun shots to the forehead and groin, the steaming iron, the can of paint. I think the can of paint would have hurt you pretty bad.
Yeah.
Especially
Yes.
falling down the stairs. Well,
Yes.
they used the cartoon, all the different cartoon things, to come up with the stunts that they wanted to do for the movie.
Like a Jackass movie?
Like, kind of like, I think it was more like
Looney Tunes.
the Roadrunner, Looney Tunes type things. You know,
That's
like,
funny.
yeah. And that pretty much wraps up what I've got for this episode. I got a couple more. The Lyric Opera of Chicago. It benefited from the movie's Snowfall. So they made fake snow for the movie. Well, they gave it to the opera in Chicago and they used it for their different performances. Marv was supposed to have gotten a spin-off. So Daniel Stern was in the film Bushwhacked. That was a movie that came out afterwards. Wasn't as popular, but that movie was supposed to have been him escaping and being a criminal on the run.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. That's what that was.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I guess it wasn't. It didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Now, let me see. There's one more thing. The old man in the movie. Remember the creepy neighbor?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
That was added after the fact. They came up with that and they said, hey, you know what would humanize this movie a little bit more? If we had that whole interaction with the neighbor. And so that was something that they added after the fact, after they were already shooting. So
Okay.
I think that was a very interesting thing. A lot of these actors, I mean, Joe Pesci, he just did Kill the Irishman, I believe, or one of those movies, or Find the Irishman. And Macaulay Culkin, you guys did a whole episode on him. So another weird fact, Macaulay Culkin still calls his mom from the show, from the movie. Which
really?
she thinks is weird. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, your real mom sucked, so I get it. You know, but that wraps us up, guys. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Shit Podcast, talking about the movie Home Alone.
Thank you for
And
having
it is
us.
a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, because that movie learned to people about hope. And that's Christmas. Hope,
Love,
family, and
love.
love. Yes, sir.
Well, I enjoyed the movie, and I haven't seen it in years, but I remember a lot of the scenes, obviously. And so it's one of those things that it's a classic, and I think I'll enjoy it again sometimes. You know,
Yep.
it's one of those movies you can watch a bunch of times, and
Yeah,
you get
every December.
yeah. And I like the "Get out of here, you filthy animal." En Spanish es animal inmundo, ¿no? Como dice.
Mundo Animal.
Inmundo
Animal,
animal,
yeah.
you know.
That
Keep the
movie
change.
was made only for the
That's another weird fact too. Those movies, because there's this, they show that guy, that character, that was something that was made just for that movie. Yeah, and then there's a part 2, like Angels of Death or something like that. Part 2 that was also just made up for the movie. So those movies didn't exist. Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you guys.
No,
Appreciate
thank
you
you,
guys
Sam.
having us.
Thank you for having us.
And,
To gonna say it. I was gonna tell that por aguantar nuestro mal inglés. And I didn't know how to
está
say
chido.
it.
And I get a lot of positive comments on my YouTube channel about having guests that are Mexican that are trying to speak English, because
Okay.
believe it or not, there's a lot of people that are using this podcast to
practice.
and to teach classes.
Ah,
Teach
cool.
classes?
Right. Yeah, they're teaching
what kind of
classes.
teacher are you?
Yeah, no, but I've gotten a few and a lot.
Just watch this podcast and get to take a nap.
Well, I get messages from them and they go, "Hey, Sam, we want to thank you. We're actually showing your podcast to the class so that they can see conversational English."
Okay.
Right? And they said, "And we appreciate the range of guests that you have because it shows our students that it's okay. It's okay to not be it's okay to not speak.
It's about that.
You see that guy? You see the guy is trying to speak English?
You speak better than him.
I know my English is bad, but I don't give a fuck.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And I think that's something, like, I'm going to tell you a little personal story. My mom has been in the United States for like 40 years now, over 40 years. I'm 45, so she's been in the I was born in the U.S., so she's been in the U.S. over 45 years. Mm-hmm. My mom still struggles to speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She speaks Spanish. Now, she understands it, but she's embarrassed to speak it.
Yeah.
Right? Because in the Mexican culture, you make fun of people who are trying.
Hey, you look ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Vato.
I remember my cousin my girl cousin was trying to say something in English, and her brother made fun of her. Ameriquindia. You know, like,
Ameriquindia.
Muy Ameriquindia. You know, it's like, and so there's this thing in the Mexican culture. But you see a white guy, he learns a new word, and he comes to Mexico and tries it.
Yes, sir.
Taco,
You know?
taco, burrito.
Yeah. Joven.
Gracias.
¿Cuánto le cuesta por la quesadilla? You know, I was like, right? That's my friend Luke does a joke like that. He says, ¿Cuánto le cuesta por la quesadilla? We don't sell Godzillas here. We don't sell Godzillas. But the point is that white people don't care.
Yes, sir.
And they try. They care more about being understood.
Mm-hmm.
Mexicans care too much what other people think. I'm telling you, from a white guy's perspective, they really want to understand what you have to say. So if you give it an effort, they want to meet you halfway. You'll be speaking English, they'll be speaking Spanish, because that's the culture.
Yes, and when you speak with another people in El Paso, they are nice with you. Okay, I understand you.
Yeah.
Fuck.
They understand they understand that you're trying, and we appreciate that. You know, and so you guys are great for being here. We appreciate you guys giving it a shot, and your English is getting better. So
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for having us here.
Don't ever apologize for whatever. We're cool, man. That's it, guys. Thank you very much. We already said, right, where people can find you.
In Que Fue de Ellos Que Fue de Podcast.
Que Fue de Podcast.
And me, like Mario Lopez Capi.
And you can find me on Instagram as Luisardo Garcia.
Most of you guys.
Yeah.
But I'll tag them on my posts anyways. You can find me as Tu Amigo Sam on all of my social media, and Está Cagado Podcast on platforms that produce podcast platforms. And on my YouTube channel, I'm Tu Amigo Sam. Please like and subscribe. Leave your comments. It helps me out a tremendous amount. I still don't know how, but they tell me I have to say that. So thank you guys for doing it. No, but I do enjoy your comments. I do enjoy the suggestions. And if we mess up a weird fact, that's cool. It's all for fun. But thank you guys for joining us. That's it for this episode of the Shit Podcast.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thumbs up.